If you're a direct seller, listen up. Network marketing girls, listen up. This episode is all about you, and it's about creating value and silencing the noise. Again, this is from a boot camp I did a couple years ago, but the content is still so applicable to where you are now, even more so, because I cannot believe people are still teaching the copy and paste methods. So I hope you will take a listen to this episode, and make sure you DM me and tell me all your thoughts when we're done. And leaders, listen up, because I know some of you who are listening to this are still teaching these ways. Don't do it, friend. Just stop. Stop trying to tell people to copy and paste. It's the easy way out. Okay, off my soapbox now. Get ready to listen up.
Hey there, I'm Melissa Batt, the host of Priorities on Purpose, a podcast for overwhelmed direct sellers who want to grow their income, audience, and influence without sacrificing their mental health and main priorities. Whether you're just starting a new adventure or you're 15 years in and have already climbed the ranks, I want to help you have the life and the business of your dreams. Can you see it? Can you feel it? Or maybe you thought you had it and something changed. Whether you have your entire dream mapped out or have completely given up on all the possibilities, I'm here to remind you that God is bigger than the little box we put him in. This side gig is part of his plan. It's not your sole purpose, but it absolutely has purpose. As a Christian life and business coach, I'm here to help you get out of your head and live with intention so you can enjoy what matters most without the guilt. More time to do what you love, more peace, more impact, more money, and opportunities to give to those you want to help. I promise to be your hype girl, business bestie, and biggest cheerleader as I share proven and simple strategies that will be sure to help you live a fulfilled life with a strong, sustainable business. Are you ready to stop chasing all the shiny things and get laser focused? Put your earbuds in while you're cooking dinner or folding that laundry, and let's get to it, friend. This is one time when multitasking is actually going to be beneficial. A lot of uplines are teaching what they did, and what they did work then, but it's not going to work now. If their business is still doing well, it's probably because they've done a really good job nurturing and following up and building that community. And I did that for a really long time. But I'm telling you, what worked then isn't working now because it's showing up as noise versus value. We don't want noise. We want value. And so back in the day when there wasn't that many people sharing and selling on social media, you could get in the messages. The hey girl messages worked, right? Like, hey girl, have you thought about having a party? Those work. Yes. Can you still get by with it sometimes? You can, but not to strangers. Okay. Like not to strangers. If you're hey girling people who you've never talked to before or haven't talked to since second grade, has never bought from you, not in your VIP group, not having conversations with you, and you're asking them to have a party or buy from you or join you, like, how's that working for you? Please let me know, because I'm guessing it's not working well. So people are on to that and they're annoyed by it because it's already been done and we're over it, right? And so that means that you have to do it differently. And that is not a bad thing. It's actually a better thing because you're going to be building that like, know, and trust factor that I talk about all the time. If you have been through the Sect to Unstoppable workshop, you know some of the things I'm going to talk about, it's in there. But we're going to go a lot deeper today than what I talk about in the workshop. Okay. So biggest thing I want you to know is if you're copying and pasting, unless it's a script that you created yourself with your thoughts, your beliefs, your everything, right? It's noise. More than likely, it's noise. Now, there will be some times when copy and paste can work and will work, but we're going to really focus on organic, authentic, and not the copy paste stuff, because most of us know, like, the copy and paste is like the scripts that our home office gives us or the scripts that your upline gives you. Like, it's a great starting point. But if you are here and you're investing this time, you don't want to be like everyone else, right? You're an entrepreneur building an additional stream of income to live your best life. And that requires you showing up differently and setting yourself apart, because where you're going
is like good and it's worth taking the time to do it right. Okay. So during my Stuck Done Simple workshops, we talk a lot about noise versus value. Anything that can be copy and pasted that didn't originally come from your mind is noise. Again, there might be some exceptions, but for now, for this training, we're going to really focus on value, giving value. That's where it's at. Okay. To give value, you have to show up authentically. You have to stop hiding behind your products or the company you represent. Biggest pet peeve. So many people do it. And again, it worked 10 years ago, but it's not working now. So stop doing it. Stop hiding behind your products. It may work for some, but what I'm teaching you today is going to take you much, much, much further than today. And tomorrow is going to take you it's building your brand. And then we're going to talk about lifers. Okay. So when you start showing up as who you really are, you will create your ride or dies. Okay. We want to build lifers, not lurkers. Okay. Your lurkers are the people that's paying attention. Like, what's she doing? But they don't want to join you. They don't want to support you. They just nibbing. That's an Indiana word. I didn't realize was an Indiana word until I said, they're like, what is she talking about? Nib. It means you're being nosy, basically. Okay. So if you're nibbing, you're nosy. So if you ever told that, just know they're saying you're nosy. You don't want the lurkers. You want to build lifers. Lurkers are sort of interested. You might be able to talk them into it. Lifers are all about it. They're ready to pull the trigger. They are ready to take action and they are ready to buy. Like, you don't have to talk them into it. They're already like, where's the link? I'm ready. Isn't that what you want? It should be what you want. Like, you want to build a relationship where they're trusting you in all the things. Okay. So, and also this leaves room to pivot if you later want to build additional streams of income on top of the direct sales company or a network marketing company that you represent. A lifer or ride or die is this right here. Okay. So I call them the ride or die. Chalene Johnson calls it the lifer. They will follow you. They will cheer for you. They will buy anything you're selling because they are your people. It can be a used Post-it note, but if you're telling them about recycling and how you can use it for other things, or you can use it for art or whatever, they will buy it because they trust you and they're cheering for you and they want to support you and see you go all the way. They are super loyal and they will give you life. You want to show up when you don't want to show up because they give you life. For me, the Success Lounge is they are pretty much my lifers. They're the ones that they give me likes because on my bad day, they're cheering for me. They're sharing what's worked for them and what, oh my gosh, I did this. And it feels so good to be serving my people, my tribe. And so I want those things for you as well. Okay. So according to Chalene Johnson, who's one of my business coaches, your lifer is you 5 minutes ago. 5 minutes ago. They are wrestling with some of those same things that you have gone through. You will help this person navigate the hurdles, overcome the obstacles, and conquer what you have already figured out. And when you do that, she says that you're going to help that person navigate things. And I'm going to give you a couple examples of this. Actually, I'm going to probably give you a lot of examples of this, but we're going to just keep going through my notes real quick in my outline. So I'm assuming you want to have those kind of customers. If so, I want you to know you can have them, but it's going to take you getting uncomfortable and it's going to take time for you to figure out who you are, because so many times we are pretending we're someone else because we think that's what other people want and are attracted to. And when we do that, that is when we get frustrated. And our customers get frustrated because we are serving the people we are meant to be serving. Okay. So it's time. I don't know if this is a controversial phrase or not, but I say it. So if it is, I apologize. I'm just ignorant, I guess. But it's time to let your freak flag shine. That's what I want to say. Let's go. All of those little quirks, all of the little things that make you you your stories, your struggles, your obstacles. Like, it's time for you to lean in and share those things. Real quick, I'm going to share this. As I wrote this, I remembered, like, I'm living what I'm teaching. And so if you are like me, which you probably are, you're an includer, right? You don't want to leave anyone out. And so when it comes to niching down and getting really clear on your communication, you're talking to one person, not the entire Facebook world, not the entire Instagram world. Like, you are speaking to one. And when you get really clear and you're speaking to one, you're going to see so many more results because you're being super clear. It's almost like a magnet. It's going to repel those that aren't supposed to be for you. And it's going to bring the people that are just like you even closer. And so it's kind of scary in the beginning. I'm not even going to lie. It's a little scary when you start doing that. Don't feel like you're leaving people out. Okay. That's the biggest thing I want you to know. Like, just because you're really wanting to focus on speaking to this one person, and we're going to kind of talk through that, it doesn't mean the other people won't be interested, won't buy, won't like follow you, because they still will. But when you get super clear, it's just going to help you connect with the people that are exactly like you. Okay. Trust the process even before you trust the process. That's what I want you to know. What you went through last week or earlier, no, that's what they're going through now. You don't have to know it all. So remember, progress over perfection. You just have to be one step ahead. When you can tell the story and be vulnerable and let them in, you will attract those who you are meant to serve. Before you can attract her, you first have to become super clear on who you are. And this means acknowledging all of those things that set you apart. I'm going to share some of my own personal stories. So one of the things that was really hard for me in the beginning to share was my struggle with depression and anxiety and mental health stuff. I have been passionate about it, but I feel like the enemy tried to tell me that why would someone want to follow you as their business coach if you struggle in this area? To me, it felt like I needed to have it all together, but clearly that's not the case because nobody has it all together. And what I can speak to is I've been there. I have learned what works, what not to work, when to focus on my health, when to push through. There's a lot of questions when it comes to your health, and especially your mental health. And I can tell the story of how hustle got me to a place where I was super anxious and overwhelmed and not taking care of myself and really sacrificing my mental health for the hustle to chase the paycheck and chase success and all of that thing. Everything was out of alignment. And so, sharing that story is going to connect me with the people that I can serve the most, because if they have gone through that, I can speak to those things and I can help them. Right. And so I want you to really, that's just a general example of one area that I know I didn't want to go there. I didn't want to talk about it. Another one is the childhood trauma stuff that I've started talking about recently. That's not something that I would have ever wanted to talk about because it's not just me. But as I've talked about it, I've learned it's not just me. There's a lot of us who have struggled with some kind of trauma in our childhood. And so when I can speak to those things, it first of all ties emotion, really connect on a level that's not surfacey, especially, I don't know, maybe that's because I'm an introvert, but I cannot stand weather talk or the surface level conversations of hey, how are you? I'm good. When I know you're not good, I just want what's really going on, When I can share those kind of things and go beyond the surface, it gives them permission to go beyond the surface as well. Because if they stay at the surface level and I'm not, they are probably not my people, right? I would be frustrated if I stayed surface level and was afraid to go deep, because that's not fulfilling my calling that I feel God is calling me to. So we're going to talk a little bit more here. Let me get back to my notes because clearly I just got off of them. ADD is another example. It could be something that I let hold me back. I'm going to try to act like I have it all together. And so I'm no, I have ADD. Okay. I have ADD and this is what you get. But it also lets other people know that like if they have ADD or they think they have ADD or they think, whatever, like you can do this too. I am proof it's possible. So again, back to my notes down, defining your lifer. To determine who she is, we first want to determine who you are. This doesn't have to be related to what you sell. In fact, it's better if it doesn't. But once you have the stories, you can see like some won't connect as much as some of the others. And so I'll give you some examples of that during the Q&A and later on as we go. But taking time to curate your messaging based off of your pillars, and this is where the whole pillar conversation comes in, will be super helpful when you're creating content to attract your lifer. Okay. So being an expert at something doesn't mean you know more than everyone. Also, you should know that. It just means you know more than most. How would you feel if you could take what you have learned and overcome and help someone save time, save money, save energy, and prevent them from being as frustrated as you've been in those situations? Wouldn't that feel amazing? Wouldn't that feel fulfilling? I mean, I feel like it is. So I'm hoping you're going to say yes to that, right? So a couple things to know and look for when determining what you're an expert at. Most likely it's something that comes easy to you. It's so easy, you will want to discount it. You'll be like, nah, that can't be what I talk about because that's just what I do. Just because that's what you do doesn't mean it comes easily for everyone else. A lot of the time we discount what we're really good at because it just seems easy. And that's because it's easy for you. It doesn't mean it's easy for everyone else. It could be that you just mastered it. So again, it could be something that you're not good at, but you have learned, embraced, and overcome enough that it's easy now. So maybe it's not something you are naturally good at. Like example, maybe running. You wanted running to be your pillar and teach people how to run a marathon or something like that. And so maybe you weren't a runner, but you want to speak to the people who weren't a runner, but want to run, or those who have asthma and want to run. Maybe you have asthma. You've always been told you can't run and you're always scared to run, but you have figured out a way to overcome it. And so now you run and you want to teach other people and inspire them to start their self-care journey and running as well. Okay. So if that's the case, it may not be something you're good at naturally, but you've learned how to do it. And so you can speak to it. All right. For me, this example is planning. I am not a planner. I have notes all over my desk, like focus. Like when you want focus, you got to take time to make the plan because I fly by the seat of my pants. Y'all, if you've heard me say it once, you've heard me say it 100 times. But I am learning that right there is a message that I can use. Part of my branding is like, I'm a recovering fly by the seat of her pants girl who is learning how to plan. And like today, in my Quick Tip Tuesday, I gave a tip that to me, I was like, I'm sure this is obvious to everybody, but it wasn't to me. I'm going to share it. And I shared it on 2 one-on-one coaching client calls, and both of them were like mind blown. It's probably because I'm attracting those girls that are just like me that fly by the seat of their pants. They're not used to planning, or they've always tried to plan, but it just never seems to work and things were falling through the cracks. So when I shared those tips, it was just like, oh my gosh, that sounds so obvious. Why haven't I been doing that? Okay. So again, it may not be something that you're naturally gifted at, but maybe it's something you've mastered, or again, you're a few steps ahead. I'm still not a master at planning. I guarantee you that. It could be something that others come to you for. Do people come to you for advice? If so, what do they ask? Or if you voluntarily give advice, because sometimes it's something that you're so passionate about, they don't even have to ask you for how to do it. You just automatically just start going on and telling them what they should be doing, even when they don't ask. When you talk about that, like what are some of the things that they ask or you voluntarily give advice for? What topics come to mind? You're going to write those down. And then 3, ask for feedback from those that know you the best, because a lot of the times, again, we're so close to it, we don't even recognize it.
Hey friend, that's it for this episode. If you found value, I would love it if you could take a couple of seconds and leave me a quick review. While it may seem super simple, it is so beneficial and gives me the opportunity to help more women. Also, take a screenshot and share it on social media with your biggest aha today. Don't forget to tag me at MelissaBadOfficial so we can connect. Thank you so much for listening. And until next time, friend, keep walking it out one baby step at a time because God's got you.